Hello, welcome back to the Taking a Vlog. Hope you are having a great moment at this time. So, just let's dive right into it. But just a reminder that we are just sharing knowledge here. We're not paid by anyone. And if what we've shared so far they've been of good use to you, please comment, like, share, subscribe. So, yes, we are finally at the end of business analysis, planning, and monitoring. And we are closing that with identify business analysis performance improvement. But before we go into that, I would like us to look at some stuff, go back to what we did before so that we can refresh our mind. So remember that we have 6 knowledge areas, and you have the business analysis, planning and monitoring, you have the elicitation and collaboration, you have the requirement life cycle management, you have the strategy analysis, you have the requirement analysis and design definition, then you have the solution evaluation. Then under business analysis, planning and monitoring, we've looked at plan business analysis approach. You can check the video out. Plan stakeholder engagement, you can also check the video out. Plan BA governance, plan business analysis information, which was the last upload we had. Then we are looking at today, identify business analysis performance improvement. So under it, you have the input, you have the output, you have the elements that makes it up. So for the input, you have the business analysis approach. You also need your performance objectives, which is external. Then elements, you are looking at performance analysis, you're looking at assessment measures, you're looking at analyzing your results, you're also looking at actions for improvement. Then output, you're looking at business analysis performance assessment. So let's roll this over now. So to identify business analysis performance improvement, our outline will be what is the purpose for this. Then we're looking at the description. We're going to look at the input, the element, what would guide you, and what are the tools you're going to use. Then the techniques, then who are your stakeholders, who you're going to consult, inform, and or whatnot. Then output for this knowledge area. So we are diving right into it. I hope you can see my screen well. Yeah. So identify business analysis performance improvement. And remember that I said take it as just you have it as the title. You need to identify your business analysis performance improvement. Remember that you are still at the planning and monitoring stage. So you are trying to plan on how you can identify your business analysis performance improvement. And remember, business analysis is all about continuous improvement. Yeah. So, what is the purpose here? The purpose of identify business analysis performance improvement is to assess business analysis work and to plan to improve process where required. So what you're about to do is identify your performance improve. How can I improve on what we have already while I'm doing my business analysis work? Okay? And at the same time, how also you'd plan to improve your process wherever it is required. So you're trying to assess your work, what you've done, and how you can improve on that. You can't just stay static. Okay. So looking at the description, it tells us that to monitor and improve performance. So you are trying to monitor, you are trying to, elevate your performance. It is necessary to establish the performance measure. So for you to monitor and improve your performance or whatever, it is good you set the structure of, like, you establish a performance measure, you establish the performance measure. So you set, like, this is the height, this is the standard we want to aim towards. Okay. Also, it is also good you establish, you conduct the performance analysis. So you also conduct your performance analysis. You look at the performance you have on ground so far and analyze it critically or review it. Also, it's good that you report on the results of the analysis. Okay. So remember that we said it is necessary to establish distance. Okay. So you are also establishing reports on the result of the analysis. You are looking at your performance, you are measuring it, you're reviewing it, then you are also reporting on the result of the analysis, and then identify any necessary preventive, corrective, or developmental actions. Oh, this is so good. So now, if you know you want to improve on your performance, you don't go into it blindly. Okay? So it is necessary to like set measures. It is necessary to look at even what you have done, you review it, how good have we come from where we are. At the same time, after analyzing it, you come forward with your report. Oh, this is what we found out. This is maybe how we can, look at it from this way. Then you now identify, okay, we've not been able to get this right. Okay, how can we prevent ourselves not to do this again, or not for this not to happen again? You know, now also you also like establish corrective measures as well, or developmental actions. How can we do better? So you go into this with an open mind. So performance analysis should occur throughout an initiative, so it is not a one-time thing. Okay, you are developing a chatbot that is as simple as anything, and you, after developing the chatbot, you notice that whenever the user sends a message, it takes like 5 minutes for it to, even from the back end, to call whatever point it's supposed to call, and then come back to you to give a response. Or you notice that the responses, they come in encryption. Okay, that is you looking at what you have done, but already maybe in that sprint later on it was corrected. Okay, but you are now going back to look at what was done, the performance, or what you guys have done, and you are also analyzing it, and at the end of the day you are looking at what was, maybe you didn't get right, maybe in your process, whether is it from the project management process, or is it from your developers, is it from your testers, is it from even from business, and then you provide a report. Okay, then you also look at how can we make it better, how can we prevent this from happening again, because it will take you time to correct and stuff like that. So you want to improve, how can we correct this, how, or when it come, or developmental actions, what actions could be taken, put in place, okay, to to improve. Is always about how do we improve, how do we get better. Now, performance analysis should occur throughout an initiative, telling you that it's not a one-time thing. Once potential performance improvements are identified, once you identify those areas that need improvement, they become guidelines for the next time a task is executed. Beautiful. So once you look at or review those performance areas and you are able to identify them, you are able to come up with corrections, you are able to bring up developmental preventive measures, it becomes a guideline. So it doesn't fall from the sky. You put together a guideline and you build on it. Okay, because in the next phase, or in the next release, there would always be stuffs to improve on. You gather them, like, okay, this is the mistake, or this is how we can improve on it, this is how we can correct it, this is how we can prevent it, and you build it on it as your guideline for the next time a task is executed. Even other groups can even use it. So that's why whatever we do, we put it on SharePoint or whatever color, whereby it would be accessible to every other person. Okay. Now, input, let's move on. We're taking so much time on this, but this is good so that we all get the gist of it. Input. So business analysis, the first input is the business analysis approach. Remember that we are still under planning and monitoring. So, and we are looking at your how you can how you can improve when it comes to performance. Okay, and for you to even understand the basis of what you need to do or what should go in here, you need your business analysis approach. You have to have in mind, what approach are you taking? Okay, what approach have we even agreed here? What approach do we want to take? Is it the waterfall, the agile? Are there other approaches we want to explore? So business analysis approach identifies business analysis deliverables that will be produced, activities that would need to be performed, including when they will be performed and who will be performing them, and techniques that will be used. So I won't really go into this too much in detail because from the time we started, we dealt into it so much. Okay. So business analysis approach. When you know your approach, you know who to do stuff, how they're going to do it, what are their expectations. Okay. So it would go into you identifying those performance improvement areas. Then performance objectives, external. Describe the desired performance outcomes that an enterprise or organization is hoping to achieve. Always remember to take this just like you see it. Performance objectives. So what are our objectives? What do we want to achieve at the end of this? So you have that as an input for your performance improvement. When you know your approach, you know who to do what and what to do, who to like consult and stuff like that. Then you come up with your performance objective. What do we want to identify at the end? So looking at this diagram, whereby we can identify business analysis performance improvement input and output diagram. So remember, the input is your performance objective, which is external. Then business analysis approach, what is the approach you are going to take. Then the guidelines and tools, what will guide you. It would be the organizational performance standards. So maybe the organization has a performance standard you can like consult, okay, while you are doing this. Then identify business, and it helps you, the input helps you to identify business analysis performance improvement. This is what you are doing. So, and the output will be business analysis performance assessment. That means at the end of the day, you have assessed, the performance of what you have done. So other tasks down the line that will be using this will be business analysis approach, plan your when you are planning your stakeholder engagement, you use it, plan business analysis governance, it uses it, and plan business analysis information management, which is what we're doing now, which was what we did last, then manage stakeholder collaboration. So let's move on to the elements. Now, remember what I said. If it's possible, when it comes to tools, guidelines, elements, input, output, try to put the definition somewhere so that when you come to elements, you'll be like, oh, what does the element mean again? Oh, okay, element. What makes something up? Right? So that you don't get confused, because you meet this often and often. Yeah, elements. The first is your performance analysis. It makes up you identifying your performance improvement areas. So what constitutes effective business analysis work depends on the context of a particular organization or initiative. So what determines your effective business analysis work depends on where it exists. And where it exists is like the organization or their initiative within that range, within those corridors. Okay. Reports on business analysis performance can be informal and verbal. So reports, when you are giving that feedback, it could be informal, it could be formal, it could be verbal, it could be you just having a discussion, or they may include formal documentation. Maybe the organization tells you, oh, this project, fine, we delivered it on time, but can we get a performance assessment? You already know that it's going to be formal, right? Well, but it's different when someone walks up to you. Oh, that project that you did, how was it? Do you think that there are areas? Do you think there are opportunities? Okay, that is verbal, right? Then informal, maybe you are having a meeting and you're like, oh, the project we did, this is it, and that, and that, and that. That is informal. So reports on business analysis performance are designed and tailored to meet the needs of the various types of reviewers. So the organization is also a reviewer on their own. They put the question to you and you come back to them with a formal approach, right? And someone walks up to you. So you're meeting everybody at the point of their expectations or at the point of their needs. So assessment measures as an element. Assessment measures. So you are looking at something, you are assessing it, what are the measures you want to take? What are like the boundaries, the standards you want to, put up? So if current measures exist, so there are some places, there are some that you already have measures existing, the business analyst may leverage. So you may build on those, okay, leverage them or determine new measures. And maybe when you see that, oh, the measures taken here, oh, they are kind of obsolete, or they are kind of like, oh, outdated, or like is a new project and you can't put it within the boundaries of, okay, are we meeting this need, are we meeting that need, are we meeting that quota and stuff like that. I think we can bump this up, like, we can improve on these numbers and stuff like that. So that telling you, you shouldn't limit yourself when it comes to certain measures or standards. The business analyst may also elicit assessment measures from stakeholders. Yeah, this is beautiful. You can also, like, from your stakeholder, brainstorm with them. What do you expect? Okay. At the end of the day, what measures do you think we can put this on to measure it? Like, what would meet your standards? What would meet your expectations? So that is you trying to elicit, trying to, collaborate with your stakeholders to know their expectations. Now, performance measures may be based on deliverable due to date as specified in the business analysis plan. So your performance measures could be the date, okay, identified in your business analysis plan, metrics such as the frequency of the changes to business analysis work product. At what, like, how often do we see changes here? The number of review cycles required. So how, like, the number of times you guys have to review, stuffs, and like bring in improvement, change stuffs. Task efficiency, how efficient is the developer, how efficient is the team in turnaround time and stuff. Or qualitative feedback from stakeholders. Oh, the feedback from the stakeholders, it's very, very important. So, like, when it comes to qualitative, like, well, quality, it doesn't have to do with numbers in this case. Oh, that team, they are really, really doing good when it comes to, churning out improvement and stuff. And peers, regarding the business analyst deliverables, and you have your community, you have your peers, you have your colleagues that can give you feedback or measures. Okay, appropriate performance measures enable the business analyst to determine when problems are occurring that may affect the performance of business analysis, or identify opportunities for improvement. So when you get those feedbacks on measures, or when you get those measures or whatever, it helps you in improvement, because it tells you when things are going wrong. Okay, measures may be both quantitative and qualitative. So it could be in numbers, or it could be like not in numbers. Qualitative measures are subjective and can be heavily influenced by stakeholders' attitude. So when it comes to qualitative measures, it can be subjective, because it's like theory. Okay, you can't see it in terms of numbers, or, oh, we are doing 100%, you are doing 80, or doing 70, we are doing 3.5. There's no benchmark. Okay, so it can be like out of the moon. Oh, they are doing so great. But you can't measure it with, like, you're doing great, but fine. But is there a measurement to it? No. Okay. So influenced by their attitudes, perceptions, and other subjective criteria. So it's subjective, it's not objective. So some possible measures are accuracy and completeness. So some possible measures are accuracy and completeness. But at this point, I think we are going to take a short break. Okay, we are going to come back and continue. Hello, hope you had some time to stretch and all that. So let's go back to where we were. Now, remember that we were looking at identify business analysis performance improvement under planning and monitoring, and we looked at the purpose, we looked at the description, we looked at the input, the element, and that is where we are currently. So some possible measures are accuracy and completeness. So for this, you determine whether the business analyst work products were correct and relevant when delivered. or whether ongoing revisions were needed to gain acceptance by stakeholders. So you are reviewing, like they're telling you some possible measures. You are looking at the accuracy. So is that what we've done, is it accurate? Okay. Did we even get business acceptance? Stakeholders acceptance before moving on. Knowledge. Assess whether the business analyst had the skills and or experience to perform the assigned tasks. Do we have like people going in blindly and they don't understand the work and stuff like that? Effectiveness. Assess whether the business analyst work products were easy to use as standalone deliverables, or whether they require extensive explanation in order to be understood. When things are ambiguous, or when they are confusing, or like you want to, so you are looking at stuff within these measures, like is it effective? Do we have to rework this? Do we have to do so much to understand it? Organizational support. Assess whether there were adequate resources available to complete business analysis activities as needed. How much of a backing or support did you get from the organization? Significance. Consider the benefit obtained from the work product and assess whether the cost, time, and resource investment expended to produce the work products were justified for the value they delivered. Did we get value? Okay. So strategic, look at whether business objectives were met. They remember at the beginning, very beginning, we're like, business analysis has to do with the strategic dream or goal of the organization. So at this point, was it met? Okay, problems were problems solved, and improvements achieved. Timeliness, evaluate whether the business analyst delivered the work on time per stakeholder expectation and schedule. Now, the third element is analyze results. The business analysis process and deliverables are compared against the set of defined measures. So you compare whatever you do against a set of defined measures, because when you don't have measures, there's a possibility that you just be working, like, working without structure. So the analysis may be performed on the business analysis process. So this to analyze your result could be performed on your business analysis process. How is the process? The resources involved and the deliverables. Very important. Performance may be determined from the point of view of the stakeholders who are the recipients of the business analysis work. That is why whatever you do, you must ensure that your feedback, you take stakeholder feedback very, very important. Okay. Is this work, is it meeting your need? What is your view? Like at each point you measure their response. Even on call, you are looking at their body language and stuff like that. Okay. Other times, a personnel manager or a center of excellence may make this determination and provide assessment. Okay. All stakeholders may have input in assessing the value of business analysis work, but organizations may differ in terms of who has the authority to set the target against which performance is measured. So when it comes to measurement, okay, when it comes to organization or group, it varies. But at the same time, even that performance or the measure, there is someone who should set that. That is why you need to have a good knowledge of your stakeholders and their functions. You know who you're taking requirements from, you know who is signing off on this, who is giving you feedback, and you also know the level of expectations when it comes to how you are supposed to channel your results. Okay, I'm getting this from this stakeholder. Is this a stakeholder a primary or secondary stakeholder? Okay, yeah, I can't say much about that now. We are still going to deal with that later on. Then recommend actions for improvement. Remember, one of your elements. So once the analysis of performance result is complete, the business analyst engages the appropriate stakeholders, you see, to identify the following actions. So once you've established the result of whatever you've evaluated and stuff, so you also make sure that you identify, like when you are giving the result, you identify that you are giving it to the right stakeholders or you're engaging the right people. So, and for you to like the appropriate stakeholders to identify the following actions: preventive, reduces the probability of an event with a negative impact. So before we go, let me take this again so that I don't confuse you. So once the analysis of performance result is complete, once whatever analysis you've done is complete, the business analyst, you engage the appropriate stakeholders to identify the following actions. Preventive, reduces the probability of an event with a negative impact. Corrective, establishes ways to reduce the negative impact of an event. Improvement, establishes ways to increase the probability or impact of events with a positive impact. So you're having this discussion with your stakeholders, who you must have identified are the right people to engage. These actions are likely to result in changes to the business analysis approach, repeatable processes and tools. So remember that they say that at the end of whatever analysis you're doing, it acts as a guideline for you for other projects or for other steps you want to take. So for our guidelines and tools, organizational performance standards may include performance metrics or expectations for business analysis work mandated by the organization. So remember that your guideline should be okay, this organization, is there an existing guideline? Is there an existing standard or structure they have built that they be like, whoever comes in and would need to, take up a project, this should guide them. This is our standard, you know. Or are you also going to create one for the organization? Techniques, brainstorming, used to generate ideas for improvement opportunities for those measures, for those engagements with your stakeholders. Interview, you use to gather assessment of business analysis performance. Item tracking, used to track issues that occur during the performance of business analysis for later resolution. Lesson learned, used to identify recommended changes to business analysis process, deliverables, templates, and other organizational process assets that can be incorporated into the current initiative and future work. Metrics and key performance indicators, used to determine what metrics are appropriate for assessing business analysis performance and how they may be tracked. Observation, used to witness business analysis performance. Process analysis, used to analyze existing business analysis processes and identify opportunities for improvement. Process modeling, you use it to identify. Remember, we are still on the guidelines and tools. We've looked at the guideline, we are looking at the tools now. So process modeling is used to define business analysis process and understand how to improve those processes to reduce problems from hand-ups, improve cycle times, or alter how business analysis work is performed to support improvement in downstream processes. Reviews, used to identify changes to business analysis processes and deliverables that can be incorporated into future work. Risk analysis and management, used to identify and manage potential conditions or events that may impact business analysis performance. Root cause analysis, used to help identify the underlying cause of failures or difficulties in accomplishing business analysis work. Surveys or questionnaires, used to gather feedback from stakeholders about their satisfaction with business analysis activities and deliverables. Workshops, used to gather assessment of business analysis performance and generate ideas for improvement opportunities. So these are your techniques, the techniques you are going to use for identifying your performance improvement, and those are brainstorming, interviews, item tracking, lesson learned metrics, and key performance indicators. That's KPIs, observation, process analysis, process modeling, reviews, risk analysis and management, root cause analysis, survey and questionnaire, workshops. Then stakeholders, who are those group of important personalities that you need to engage, you need to, inform, you need to brainstorm with. The number one person is your domain subject matter expert. Should be should be informed about the business analysis activities in order to set expectations regarding their involvement in the work and to elicit their feedback regarding possible improvements to their program. Remember, they are those that are knowledgeable about the system. So you need to engage them as often as possible. Project manager is accountable for the success of a project and must be kept informed of the current status of business analysis work. If potential problems or opportunities for improvement are identified, the project manager must be consulted before changes are implemented to assess whether those changes would have an impact on the project. Remember, he is in control of the scope, making sure that we have all those change processes in place. Okay. They may also deliver reports on business analysis performance to the sponsor and other stakeholders. The sponsor, your number one person, may require reports on business analysis performance to address problems as they are identified. Remember, they sign off on so many stuff and they give their approval. A manager of business analysts may also sponsor initiatives to improve the performance of business analysis activities. And we've come to the end, which is the output. And your output would be at the end of the day your business analysis performance assessment, what you have found out after your review, your engagement, your monitoring and stuff, includes a comparison of planned versus actual performance. Identifying the root cause of variances from the expected performance, propose approaches to address issues and other findings to help understand the performance of business analysis process. And I hope that this was a good one for you. See you next time. Thank you.